If there's one thing that Fire Emblem Three Houses and Kirby and the Forgotten Land have in common, it's that there's a fishing minigame. Both games are worth playing a few times over, at least in my opinion, and one would be bound to try them out in a casual playthrough. As such, I had thoughts about something. Which fishing minigame is better? To figure out how I will be ranking them, I decided on a few categories to grade them: availability, usefulness, and mini-gameplay. To start, we need to talk about the availability of these fishing minigames. In Three Houses, it is available as early as Chapter 1, but in Forgotten Land, this minigame is only available after rescuing 155 Waddle Dees, which requires you to have rescued a sizable amount of them from the first 3 to 4 worlds. The first point easily goes to Three Houses in this regard. Next up is usefulness. In Three Houses, you can get resources from the fish and food to feed your units. There are also certain kinds of fish that actually can be sold for a decent sum of gold, as well as other fish being able to provide a temporary stat boost to your units for the chapter when cooked. This is also the case in Kirby, where you get star coins for each successful catch, and the larger the fish, the more coins you get, which goes to upgrading your copy abilities as well as buying temporary stat boosters if you have access to them. If you manage to reel in a Bling Blipper, that's essentially a jackpot which nets you 500 coins. As for whatever side objectives show up, Three Houses has 3 quests that involve fishing, but the rewards are not very impressive. In Kirby, the only reward you get is a unique figurine from fishing up your first Bling Blipper, but unlike the Three Houses quest rewards, it has no value. While it's kind of a toss-up, I'm gonna give Three Houses this point, because I feel as though the rewards in Three Houses are better. The extra temporary stats are generally more useful than the upgrades in Kirby, especially in maddening, although in lower difficulties it might not be as useful, which is why I say it's a toss-up. Last up is the mini-gameplay. What I mean by this is the gameplay loop of the fishing minigames. In Three Houses, the minigame of fishing is a rhythm game of sorts, where you need to press the A button with the correct timing shown by a ring closing in on an image of the A button. In order to go fish in the first place, you need to have bait to do so. With higher quality bait, reeling in a better chance at better fish. You can actually tell up front what kind of fish is being fished up based on the size and color of the image of the fish. Three Houses also has a weirdly intense soundtrack associated with the minigame. In comparison, the fishing minigame in Kirby and the Forgotten Land is very different. While there is no bait needed to get fish, it's treated for a quick time event section where you need to press the right button at the right time. You also get to see how much the fish you catch weighs in at, and your 3 heaviest fishes are put on the leaderboard just by the pond. When it comes to music, while Forgotten Land has no soundtrack associated with it, if you finish the main story, then you'd be able to select the song that plays thanks to the Waddle Dee band. While the gameplay in Three Houses is more realistic, Forgotten Lands is so much more fun, and that's why I'm giving it the point. My final conclusion is that I feel as though the fishing minigame in Three Houses is better. This doesn't mean that I think Forgotten Land's fishing minigame is bad, far from it, but I feel as though you get more out of the fishing minigame in Three Houses. Regardless, I feel as though both are enjoyable on their own merits. Thank you for stopping by, and I'll see y'all the next time.